Trump's trying to bail out Andrew Tate. It makes sense, right? Like, for one, the Trump administration and the people around it are going to do everything in their power to kind of like consolidate public support, and getting like Hitlerite, sexually inexperienced 16-year-old boys who will later be 18-year-old boys who can then vote. Like, it makes sense to consolidate. It's like a big top G move, right? Epic Sigma warrior against the deep state. Donald Trump reaching across the world to save Andrew Tate from, I don't know, the Jews trying to arrest him or whatever, make the libs cry. The UK is also charging him. Yeah, but, you know, Romania is the country he lives in. Vance has stated he believes the Romanian election was rigged. You mean, wasn't the Romanian election the one where they, like, actually redid the count because there were anomalies found? Well, all right. The Trump administration has urged Romanian authorities to lift travel restrictions on influencer Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate. The administration is ideologically pro-rape, pro-pedophilia, pro-abuse of women. This makes sense. Like, it's not incidental, right? Like, things like that aren't things they overlook in pursuit of some other goal. They are the goal. U.S. officials broached the subject during a phone call with the Romanian government, advocating for the return of Tate's passports and permission for them to travel while awaiting court proceedings. The diplomatic effort was further amplified when Richard Grenell, Trump's envoy for special missions, met with Romanian Foreign Minister Emil Hurezeanu at the Munich Security Conference last week. While Hurezeanu declined to comment on the specifics of their discussion, his spokesperson emphasized the independence of the Romanian judiciary, stating the courts operate based on the law and due process. Well, that's a novel distinction, you know, relative to how things are currently functioning in the United States. I mean, I know why, but why, lol? That's literally it. It's literally Andrew Tate is a person that we can use. He will be another mouthpiece for the administration. They're doing this with Eric Adams right now. Eric Adams is facing criminal investigation for his obvious corruption. By lightening the pressure on him, you have him as like a permanent agent. Andrew Tate will be a permanent agent. Everyone will be a forever mouthpiece, you know? Didn't you say he was nowhere near the size he used to be? He isn't. Andrew Tate is a lot less popular than he was back during his peak. Like, again, with all these conservative influencers, you have a very predictable, like, you have this meteoric rise. And the thing to remember is that all of them are functionally saying the same things, right? The fundamental message of all of these people is that men are entitled to something that is natural and right. It is a power and an experience they no longer have because of modernity. The reason they don't have it, it can be because of multiculturalism, it can be because of feminism, whatever. But fundamentally, it's the reason they're not getting laid, it's the reason they're not happy, you know? And the only way to address this is to become super duper ultra far right, be angry all the time, be a top G, whatever else. They all have the same message. They're really not that interesting or novel. You can like literally get Jordan Peterson from Andrew Tate, or vice versa. They intersperse very, very easily, you know? It's just a matter of like the way the message is delivered. It's the tone. The tone of Tate versus Jordan Peterson, very different. The tone, the delivery, but the underlying message is pretty much the same, right? So, you know, the administration's basically just looking to use these people as an indefinite mouthpiece. But they rocket up in popularity because they're so samey, and a lot of these people are very mentally unstable. A lot of them are criminals, you know, rapists, pedophiles, whatever else. Inevitably, their instability, that's what happened with... It was instability with Jordan Peterson. It was criminality with Tate, though instability played a factor in that. You know, they have a fall off, and they just become parodies of themselves. Jordan Peterson has just been a parody of himself for years now. Andrew Tate literally gave up on being a messenger to people and started just like calling people the N-word on Twitter because it drove blue checkmark engagement, and he got a little bit of money from Twitter. Like literally, like when you no longer have the ability to promote any kind of meaningful message, you consolidate, you close ranks around the people who already care about you, and you milk them for all that they're worth until eventually there's nothing left, you know? That's what happens. Tate also did the Sieg Heil. Yeah, because he wanted attention. That was it. When Elon Musk did the Sieg Heil, Andrew Tate was like, yeah, I'll also do the Sieg Heil. He got some attention for it. That's it. There's no real argument there. There's not a message. There's no attempt at reaching out to new people, you know? He just plays off his audience to make as much money as he can from them. Yeah, Tate has already said that he'll move back to the United States now that Trump has won if he gets the chance to anyway. So, MAGA, he told Newsweek at the time. He's not a principled Nazi. Basically, none of them are. Wasn't he British? He's British Romanian. British American, I thought? No. Praying the Romanian authorities put him in the oubliette. God willing, inshallah. He would like that, inshallah, because he pretends to be Muslim. A Washington Post review of Kennedy's public appearances found he also promoted these centers as particularly beneficial for black youth. Every black kid is now just standard put on Adderall, on SSRIs, benzos, which are known to induce violence. RFK Jr. has a lot to say about black people, doesn't he? Remember his, like, black people need to be given a different vaccine schedule because their immune systems are different? Those kids are going to have the chance to go somewhere and get reparented to live in a community where there will be no cell phones, no screens. Oh yeah, this is him talking about the Adderall farms where people who have Adderall prescriptions are sent to graze like upstate. Reparented, what the fuck does that mean? I mean, in this case, it literally means like, well, I guess it's not even a this case thing, right? He's talking about like ripping black kids away from their parents and sending them to farms to work. Which I think we used to do that. I think we used to have a system for that. Could be wrong. Yeah, what is the every black kid is now just standard put on Adderall? Isn't it black kids have a lower per capita incidence rate of neuroatypicality and like prescriptions that follow? I think this is bullshit. I've heard the opposite of this. Isn't the stereotype that it's white kids? Yeah, I know that's not really like a good heuristic to go off of, the stereotype or whatever. But yeah, my understanding was that, wait, you're telling me they're sending the kids with ADHD to concentration camps? RFK Jr. in a podcast appearance some time ago, though he mentioned this more than once, said that people who take ADHD or whatever, like basically this was in an executive order. He's saying these medications are overprescribed. Too many people have chronic illnesses. We're overprescribing the medicine. We need to evaluate whether or not the medicine does anything good or if it's harmful. And we need to take kids or just people in general who are addicted to these medicines, and we need to send them to a free-range ADHD wellness camp. So rather than curing your ADHD with Adderall or whatever, you go to a big, like, farm, basically, where you aren't on your phone all dang day and you get to talk to people and it cures your ADHD. Basically, he believes exactly what I believe vis-a-vis that conversation we had about autism. I'm just not as authoritarian about it. I want you guys to make the choice to go to a farm upstate and be off your phones for a bit, okay? But he doesn't believe in the choice element, so that's I have ADHD and I've never taken Adderall. Would you recommend taking it? If it works for you, talk to your doctor. Varies person to person. That's the Vosh difference. He also believes in the racial element. Well, I do too, just the opposite direction. Where if you're white, you definitely need to go to the farm. Has there ever been a fascist takeover in a country that has as many guns per capita as the US? I don't think there's a country with as many guns per capita as the US, so probably not, right? ADHD meds are a controlled substance. I don't think there's much else they can do. The scheduling of medications is controlled by the Department of Health and Human Services. RFK Jr. could literally just break all of it. It's all downstream of FDA guidelines. Their scheduling, like they could do whatever they want. This is not like a state-by-state thing. He has that much power? Yes. He's the head secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services. He has a huge amount of power, yeah. Wouldn't Big Pharma get upset with him, though? I don't know. Maybe just make insulin cost more? Never thought I'd pray for Big Pharma. Never thought I'd die fighting side by side with an elf.